Ah, there is just no place like home. Beautiful South Africa, I've missed you. And look here, there's another town for us to explore. I am busy traveling along the N2, National Road 2 here in South Africa. And I've stopped here at Swellendam. You can see they're established in the 1740s. In fact, the third oldest town in the country. Let's go and explore. There's Cape Town, and Swellendam is over there. It almost feels like I've taken some time travel back to the 1700s. 18th century Dutch Cape. Beautiful surroundings. Look at the Langeberge. I've decided to start the vlog at the town entrance close to the Drostdy, because this is really the historical heart of the town. You can see today it's a museum, so let's go in. Yeah, there's the entrance. And we've also got the beautiful garden here. Look at the old cannon. Swellendam, approximately 220 kilometers from Cape Town. And I believe a similar distance from George as well. About 220. And it is a little bit off the N2. I guess many people bypass it on the way to the garden route. But let's have a look here. Gosh, first impressions is it's very well maintained. Looks very 18th century. Yeah, it's a national monument. Look at that, nationale gedenkwaardigheid. When I did my research on Swellendam, I thought there might be an interesting story about the name. Maybe something like a swollen dam. But as was the case with Hopefield, it is much more boring. Swellendam was named after Hendrik Swellengrebel, a Cape governor, and his wife Helena ten Damme. Just for a bit of context, around the 1740s, the Dutch East India Company, or the VOC, they decided to set up a new administrative district way out east of Stellenbosch. And that would become Swellendam in due course. This was mainly to keep an eye on the trekboers, the farmers that ventured out inland, who looked for new grazing land and more freedom. The VOC, they were keen to maintain some control over these farmers and to manage the expanding colony better. So there you go, Swellendam as the third oldest town in South Africa. Anyways, let's go and check out the museum. Let me just show you my ticket quickly that I bought. I'll put it down there, Drostdy Museum. You can see there admission for adults 40 Rand. £1 is about 23, maybe 24 Rands nowadays. And I am visitor 5158 by the looks of it. And how brilliant is this? With your admission ticket you also get a brochure, and you can read more there about the Drostdy itself. There's my ticket, and there's Giola who sold me my ticket. Hello Giola. Hoe gaan het?
Goed, dankie en so.
Ag, lekker man.
Welkom by die Drostdy Museum.
Dankie.
Die Drostdy Museum was gebouw in 1747 deur die Oos-Indiese Kompanie. Dit het gedien as huis en offices vir die eerste landros van Swellendam. Sy naam was Johannes Redes. Die huis het 16 vertrekke. Al die meubels is van die vroeë 18de eeu en laat 19de eeu. Meeste Victoriaans, so meneer gaan begin deur die lounge. Rond op beweeg en by die dining room.
Baie dankie. And there you go. That is how you get an introduction at a museum. That's the way it's supposed to be. Giola, baie dankie. Ja, ek beïndruk met jou kennis man. Dankie. Thank you. So now, armed with that information, I will explore a little bit here in the Drostdy, the dining room. Yeah, wow. You definitely get a timeless feel here. Now that's how you made a traditional coffee. I guess in modern day South Africa with Eskom doing its tricks, we will return to that. But anyway, let's not dwell on that. Let's look at some of the photographs and the paintings here. Yeah, very illustrative. Look at the old clock. And beautiful wooden furniture. More information here, the dining room. At the Cape, the dining room was traditionally situated at the center of the house. This characteristic was derived from the hall plans of medieval Europe and was well suited to the relaxed informality of Cape life. This is the only room in the house with overhead lighting. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, beautiful wooden harmonium here. donated in 1981. Lots of portraits and paintings here of influential people. Anyways, let's go to the kitchen. And on the way there, we've got more information here in Dutch about commissioners and, well, chairman, mayors, burgemeesters. Okay, no entry there, but kitchen over here. All right. This room, the original function is unknown, but originally it could be reached from the kitchen. Oh, maybe like a guest room or something. It is amazing how often the name William Robertson features when I travel in South Africa. He was listed obviously in Robertson. We came across him in Forest Smith, and here in Swellendam he features again. Dr. William Robertson, after which the town Robertson is named. The lithograph of Dr. Robertson is also here. Alright, let's go to the kitchen here. Oh yes, now we are talking. Imagine the communal feel here back a few hundred years ago. Look at all the kitchen stuff, technology back in the day. This is what your grandma's kitchen would have looked like. Absolutely brilliant, don't you think? Look there, discarded wagon tires were used to protect the plastered surface where the fire was made. Copper utensils were made at the Cape, but most of the ironware was imported. Yeah, can you imagine getting stuff to Swellendam back in the day? Importing. That would have been a mission. A staircase leads up to the loft where fruit and vegetables as well as biltong, the dried meat and dried fish, were kept. So there you go, bit of a storage facility. And close to the kitchen, I can just bring it down here and prepare the food. You've got a pantry here. Yeah, keeping food fresh and fit for purpose was a bit of a mission back in the day. Beautiful arrangement here. Is it just me, or did people back in the day take their dining a bit more seriously? A little bit more orderly? It was a big thing, it was a communal thing. I'm not sure that it is still the case today. Right, let's explore more. Here we've got a bedroom. I've noticed the Dutch East India Company logo there, the VOC. Let's check out a bedroom. Ah yes, imagine travelling all the way from the Cape or Stellenbosch, and then you come and sleep here. The bedroom with swan bed. Most of the furniture in this room dates from the early 19th century, when the new classical style was popular in the Cape, and more in relation to the tester bed or the swan bed. The swan is a museum reconstruction based on available evidence. The swan is a Lutheran emblem, and the original owner was J.H. Kraus. And look there, in Prague, when I was in Prague, I talked about Jan Hus, or John Hus, who was burned on the stake. And he's mentioned here in Swellendam, thousands of miles from Prague. But yeah, wow, look at that. And there you can see the swan over there. Yeah, absolutely beautiful historic building this. And I love how they got information on absolutely everything here. All the photographs, all the portraits. The Drostdy 1777. Yeah, there's old maps. There's a wider district. Yeah, wonderful that they've preserved all of this. Here's a dressing room. Okay. So it's got a wardrobe, and yeah, back in those days, I guess people came to the dressing room to get dressed. They didn't necessarily do that anywhere else like the bedroom. You can read more about this in your own time, and I just want to point out Jan van Riebeeck is responsible for introducing the oak tree to South Africa. So all the oak furniture in this part of the world, that was his baby. The secretary's office. Oh wow. Yeah, look at the feather. They would still have used the feather and ink to sign documents, to write documents. Ah, and this is where the boss would have hanged out, the magistrate's office. Oh yes, there's the flag of the Dutch East India Company. There's a table, and look, he's got 3 feathers, not just one. He has a lot of documents to sign. There's some of the history that Giola referred to earlier, and you can read more in your own time. You can also read here about the more, I guess, recent history, the 20th century, including apartheid pass laws, and in Swellendam the application of the Group Areas Act as well. Lots of history here in Swellendam. I'll tell you what, I don't always go into museums, but for 40 Rand, this is an absolutely brilliant deal. Anyway, here's the court. I guess it would not have been a brilliant deal for you to end up here back in the day. So if you committed a crime or you did something very bad, you would end up here, and the magistrate would sit here, and the sound of this gavel against the wood there, that would be a terrifying noise. More history there, and some information about Joseph Barry. I'll talk more about him in due course, but he arrived in Cape Town in 1817. He's a famous name in this part of the world. And there you go, part of Swellendam's story, all the trekboers, the farmers who moved to the area, and the Dutch East India Company had to keep a close eye on them. And yeah, they would have travelled in wagons such as these. Yeah, Drostdy Museum, you can be very, very proud of this, the way you've preserved this. Look there, they've even got some keys listed there. Look at the size of some of the keys they've used back in the day. The magistrate had a key role to play in collecting taxes and ensuring fiscal control in the country. Obviously, the Dutch East India Company, when they established Swellendam, it meant a little bit more effort was required on the administrative side. So this building here undoubtedly played a key role for the Dutch East India Company. Yeah, so that was the main building, but there are a few other here on the grounds as well, a few smaller ones with some exhibitions. Let's go and check them out. What have we got there? Lecture hall, exhibition hall. Yeah, I just love these thatch roof buildings, Cape Dutch style. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Drostdy Skier Lesingsaal. Yeah, it doesn't look open here. There's the entrance here through the toilets, because this door is open. Okay, some wagons here. I believe Swellendam was famous for its wagons back in the day. Oh, here you've got a hearse. Vehicle was drawn by horses, usually 2 but sometimes 4. The coffin was placed between the railings, so coffin in there. Yeah, just look at the beautiful design. The wheels here. And for families who could not afford this, there was this option to carry the coffin. The lake bar, the beer. And here is a Cape cart, another form of cart. And you've got the buggy or the open cart here as well. And yeah, this one looks a little bit more upper class. Is that the right term? Yeah, stagecoach. There you go. This coach is a replica of his so-called Zederberg coach and was manufactured by the De Haan brothers of Durbanville for use during the Van Riebeeck Festival. Die Kaap Van Riebeeck Feest 1952. Oh wow. Look at the size of the wheels. April 1952, so 300 years after Van Riebeeck arrived at the Cape. 7 mail coaches converged on the Van Riebeeck Festival Arena in Cape Town, having begun their journey in other cities in what was then the Union of South Africa. Yeah, that is quite a route all the way from Windhoek to Cape Town. A classic N7. Alright, I think that is it from the Drostdy. Let's go and explore more of the town. And as we walk there, I'll tell you a little bit more about the economy of Swellendam. Today, I've read that it is a farming area known for raising cattle and sheep. And they also grow some grain and fruit in the area. Here you can see more of a beautiful landscape. Swellendam, a true hidden gem here in South Africa. I say hidden. Many people know about it, but because you don't drive through it when you're on the N2, it is a little bit hidden. You have to turn into the town to visit it. And I'm glad I did. Oh, what have we got here? Namakwa Afrikaner sheep. Archaeological records show that domestic animals have been present in southern Africa for almost 2,000 years. Animals such as sheep, goats and cattle were brought in by communities migrating from a central lake area of Africa. My understanding is that the wool industry of South Africa actually started here in the Uferberg, in the Swellendam region. I've read that Swellendam's connection with wool started around 1789, the same year as the French Revolution. So I guess in a way you can say there was a wool revolution here in the Uferberg. At that time, certainly in the Uferberg, there were not a lot of settlements, and the town of Swellendam was very tiny. Just one store. And most supplies had to be hauled over the mountains by travelling salesmen. And then in 1819, Joseph Barry visited Swellendam for the first time. He fell in love with the town. He even married a local farmer's daughter and told himself, if a right business opportunity comes along, I'm going to settle here. Barry was happy to play the long game and to wait for the right opportunity. Over the next few years, Swellendam experienced quite a few droughts, leaving farmers hungry and desperate. The government stepped in. They asked for bids to transport rice and grain from Cape Town to Swellendam. But there was a bit of a problem. Crossing the mountains was no joke. So Lowry's Pass wasn't built yet, so you can imagine what a rough ride that would have been. This is where Barry saw his opportunity, and he thought outside the box. Why not ship goods along the coast to the mouth of the Breede River and then cart them by ox wagon to Swellendam? That was a bit of a genius move. Things got so well that Barry set up a depot at the river mouth, and he called it Port Beaufort. The farmers, they were over the moon. No more grueling 2-month treks to Cape Town to sell their stuff. Merchants in Cape Town, they were just as happy. Finally a way to get their goods inland. And just so Barry's little trading venture takes off. And by 1824, this is when he made Swellendam his home. Over the next decade, Barry rode the highs and lows of business. And in 1854, he set up a venture with his nephews. And it became quite big. In fact, I don't think it is far-fetched to refer to it as an empire. The trading empire of the Barrys in the 19th century. They had branches in the Uferberg, in Cape Town and even in London. And the farmers, they were happy. They boosted production, they made more money, and the whole region thrived. So that was pretty much the golden age of Swellendam, that mid-19th century. Anyways, just outside the Drostdy here, you have a garden, the Drostdy garden. And you can see there that was created in the 18th century. Its original form was much larger than the present plot. The current layout is based on plans and sketches dating to between 1776 to 1844. So yeah, 1844, certainly that's when the Barrys were in town. The other thing that Swellendam is very famous for is that it was a republic for a few months in 1795. And in fact there's a restaurant here called Republic to, I guess, commemorate that famous year. So let's see if we can grab a coffee and I'll tell you more about that history in due course. Yeah, wow, they've got some interesting rustic elements outside here. You can see their Republic and the year 1795. And I've met the friendly staff here. Hello Selma, hoe gaan het?
Good, good, and you?
Lekker, nice man, yeah. Selma's just making me a cappuccino, but she's busy showing some of the wines of the region as well. Look there, of course, famous wine country. They've even got the Local wines there, you can see Bonnievale and Robertson's not far from here either. Look, they've even got Swellen Brew. Yeah, some of the famous people who have frequented the establishment here. And yeah, I do remember watching this YouTube video where Swellendam was a finalist in the Town of the Year. I don't think they won it. So maybe next entry is in order, Swellendam. What do you say? How brilliant is this? Look at these candle holders. And some piping used for a wine rack as well. Just look at that. They also got a gin distillery here. You can see their Rebel Gin, 1795. And the Schaamblom, I've been told that's a type of Fynbos, Blushing Bride. Sedgwick's Old Brown Kettle. I only know the sherry, I didn't know that you can make tea. Alright, got myself a coffee. It was 35 Rand. And now I need to decide where to sit here. Spoiled for choice. Do I go for the view there? Or do I go for a bit of peace and quiet here with a view of a Drostdy? Yeah, maybe I'll go here for a bit. Take some time out. And yes, what a beautiful, beautiful town. 1795 was an iconic year for Swellendam. That is the year in which they became a republic. They became tired of the chaos and the corruption of the Dutch East India Company. And from the 17th of June until the 4th of November, they went full DIY government. They even had their own president, Hermanus Steyn. And yes, the republic was short-lived, but it is still legendary in this part of the world. Anyways, onwards and upwards. I've noticed there's some more wagons here, more carts. And another museum sign there. And in fact, the tourist information center is here as well. So is this part of a Drostdy as well? Looks like the jail. Yes, indeed, the old jail. And this is also a national monument. Let's go and check it out. Information office. There's no one here. Let me just check. No, they are shut. Some more information here as well. Swellendam past and present. You can see there the Drostdy Museum. It consists of a few buildings, of which this old jail complex, this old prison, is one of them. Oh wow. Yeah, look at this. It looks pretty old but very well preserved. Look at the building materials used over there. Hello, is you alright? How's things? You okay? Yeah, I made a new friend here. Are you hungry? I don't have food, I've only got a cappuccino. I wish I could play with you, but I've got some sights to see, things to do here in Swellendam, including visiting the old jail. You can see there, shortly after the Drostdy was built in 1747, a jail was constructed on the same property. This is the second oldest jail in the country. Okay. Oh, there's a blue plaque here. Heritage South Africa, Mary Alexander Cook, in recognition of her pioneer work in identifying and conserving the old buildings of the Cape, and especially those in Swellendam, where she lived for a number of years. Oh, there you go. Oh, someone's having a fantastic time just relaxing. Hey, good life you've got. Unlike the criminals who operated in this part of the world. They would have felt the iron fist of law and order between the Drostdy and the jail. Anyways, let's go through here. Ambachtswerf. Oh wow. Here's a big anchor. Okay, we've got information there, so go through here. I love all this information. It actually makes my job filming a lot easier. Means I can just read from the information board. So you can see there, farming was the chief occupation in this region. Oh, it just talks there about the expansion of a complex, and there you can see Ambachtswerf, the trade yard. The trades represented here were practiced in Swellendam in the early years of European settlement. It was here that provisions were purchased and repair to wagons and other equipment were made. The creation of an ambachtswerf is merely a convenient means to exhibit these trades and it is not meant to be a recreation of a historical site. Okay, but anyways, you do have some sort of layout. You can see there are various buildings for various trades. The industries like wagon repair, wheat threshing, milling and baking, blacksmithing. Those industries have a complex history. They reflect the skills and practices of pre-colonial indigenous communities, those of a settler community as well as those of a town's enslaved population, who brought certain skills from the African and Asian countries of origin. Yeah, so a complex history indeed. Yeah, all these doors are open. I could just walk in. And I have to say, for South Africa, they've got a very relaxed stance to keeping doors open in Swellendam. Maybe that tells you something about the community. Yeah. Various artifacts here that they've preserved. Various tools of all different shapes and sizes. Yeah. Blood, sweat and tears. Can you imagine what all these people went through? They tried to build a community. They tried to better the lives of a population through their trades. Yeah, listen to the birds. Yes, we've got a lot of history, but I just want to remind you that we are in an absolutely breathtakingly beautiful part of South Africa. Listen to the birds. Look at the nature, the mountains. And oh my gosh, we do have a very interesting old implement here, which has seen better days for sure. Yeah, let's check it out. There's a donkey over there as well. Yeah, another one. The donkey's going for a bit of an afternoon stroll in Swellendam. And why not? Because look at that. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, more about this. I'm not a very techie person, so if you know what this is or what this was, let me know in the comments. Certainly looks like something that could have been used on a farm. Agriculture. And yeah, more of the beautiful thatched roofs. It is a wonderful experience walking here in Swellendam. And I'll say again, I don't know how many people bypass it when they travel on the N2, but I can absolutely recommend it as a place to visit. It's got everything. It's got the history, it's got nature, it's got friendly people. What is there not to like? And I can absolutely say with relative certainty that the community is very proud of their town as well. It's extraordinarily clean. Well, that's at least the case for the areas that I visited. They take a lot of pride in what they do here. Anyway, Tanner. Oh wow, yes. Here's a shoe stretcher, an elaborate version of a screw-operated distender. And again, various people from the community who have donated items and trinkets, pieces of historical value. This is absolutely incredible. If you're interested in the more technical side of things, you can even read there about the tanning process in more detail. You've got various other pieces of information about the contribution of locals. But yes, all these different trades, all these different occupations, they've contributed to Swellendam in some way, shape or form. What have we got there? That building there looks interesting. Could that be an old oven? Yeah, let's have a look. Indeed an oven, a kiln. A replica of a charcoal kiln at the Courthouse, a farm in the district. They were pretty sizable. Yeah, there you can go. That's where the smoke goes, obviously out. And some people have carved their names in there. And that looks to have been an old water mill. Flashbacks to Elim, which we visited in another vlog. That wheel was a little bit bigger than this one, but nonetheless some water mill technology on display here in Swellendam as well. Alright. Okay, temporarily not working. They are maintaining it, but yeah, you can just see there some of the mechanics, some of the engineering. It always just blows my mind when I visit these old historic places, the technology they used and all the obstacles they would have had back in the day. But they succeeded in many ways, and I guess this is a place for one of the workers or the engineers to sleep, stay over. Yeah, more of the technical details. Yeah, plans for the water mill. And on this side, look there, a braai area, a kitchen. Wow, life back in the day. Another shed, another room here. Let's have a look. Okay, so this was for a carpenter. You can see the draw knife over there. Various saws and what are those, some liquids. Massive saw here. You can see there, that would have been more than one person operating that one for sure. And some axes, saw setting tools, various bolts and screws. It's all rusted now, but they all played their part in building something special at some point. You know what, this museum, and I don't mean this lightly, but I think this is one of the best museums I visited in South Africa. Obviously the disclaimer there, I don't go into many, but just the setup, the atmosphere around it as well, the friendly staff at the office. I just want to say a massive thank you for showing me this museum. Yeah, you didn't do a lot, but just to be in your presence, that is much appreciated, Your Highness. Yeah, we saw donkeys going for a stroll outside, and there's a donkey in reception here as well. If you know more about donkeys in Swellendam, let me know in the comments. And also, by the way, if you haven't done it yet, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. That really helps me out building the channel. Anyways, onwards and upwards, let's walk down this beautiful tree-lined street. Yeah, Swellendam. I'm gonna have a tough time saying goodbye to you, that's for sure. Yeah, country Delhi. Looks like they are very proud of homemade things in Swellendam. Dag sê julle, hallo hallo.
Hallo meneer.
Hoe gaan het?
Dis jou.
Lekker, wat is jou naam?
Ek is Evelyn meneer.
Evelyn, ek is Willie, aangename kennis.
Aangename kennis, meneer.
Some mueslis, you've got some virgin olive oils, honey. There are lots of bees in the region here in Swellendam. And the biscuits and cookies. Wow, and some of the breads there. Evelyn, jy het tuisgebak, nee?
Tuisgebakte brood elke
Daar
dag
sê.
meneer, vars uit die oondheid.
Lekker man, en is jy van Swellendam
Ek
af?
is van Swellendam meneer.
Jy bly dan in 'n mooi plek hoor.
Baie dankie
Daar
meneer,
sê.
waardeer dit.
Dankie man. Look at the old post box here. And outside here we've got an old bicycle. That person's going nowhere. But yeah, what a beautiful garden here. Next to Republic you do have a boutique market here. And they look pretty new, pretty recent. You can see they're established 2022. Yeah, so let's have a look at the shopping scene in Swellendam. Look at that, are those baboons on a colourful couch? Some wallets and bags, a variety of plants here used for decorations. And there's a mirror. Hi everyone, hi Swellendam. Various cards. Oh, and a variety of garments and shoes. Look at that, the fellies. The kids' fellies there, how much? 380 rand. Yeah, this is what people in Swellendam wear. Look at this. Maxi dresses, flowery scarlet dresses, beautiful floral prints here as well. A willow dress, 915 rand. Biltong boys here in Swellendam. Let's have a look. Check there, donkey long tongue. That is a long tongue for sure. Various biltong flavors. They even got wagyu. Look at that. Namibian flavor. Got the droewors. Some brilliant Afrikaans products here. Kalahari braai here in the Oeverberg. I've also got some leather products here. Let's have a look. Yeah, looks very organized. Lots of different types of bags and belts. Yeah, if you wondered where we are in South Africa. I've even got the strikdas, look at that. The bow tie, 155. And various socks if you want to go and explore the nature around here. You've got the Bontebok Park, which is not far. And yeah, if you need some hydration, you'll be sorted out here as well. Some water bottles. Very interesting leather products. This bag, 1,590 Rand. Looks very interesting. Various shoes. Some good quality, genuine leather shoes here. The Fellies. Let's just pick one out. You can see there, Hunter Mzansi Red Sole, 720. Some friendly residents there. Hello. Anyways, talking about residents and famous surnames, I've been digging into some of the famous family names tied to Swellendam. Families who've been part of a town story for decades, if not centuries. And we're talking the Moody's, who came all the way from Scotland, the Steins, the Streichers, Van Edens, Rothmans, Tomlinsons and the Duns. And of course, last but not least, you have the Barrys, who I mentioned earlier. Those names, they pop up everywhere and they really form a big part of Swellendam's story. Ah, here we go, beautiful bird. Hello. The nature around here is just spectacular. And more about the Barrys as we enter this beautiful garden. In 1859, now that is of course the same year when Charles Darwin published his Origin of Species, the company ordered a shiny new screw steamer all the way from Scotland. It was called the SS Cardi. That steamer helped the Barrys to make regular trips from Cape Town to Port Beaufort and then up the Breede River to their inland depot at Malgas. It was Swellendam's golden age. The Barry Empire was very successful, certainly in the 1850s and early 1860s. I believe they even had their own banknotes. But then in 1865, there were a few events which dramatically altered the economic course of Swellendam. On 17 May 1865, there was a massive fire that swept through Swellendam, and it destroyed much of the town and a lot of its early landmarks. Joseph Barry also passed away in 1865, and a third disaster, the SS Cardi, ran aground. So 1865 was not the best year for Swellendam, and ultimately the Barry Empire collapsed the following year in 1866. So the Swellendam golden age of the 1850s and 60s, it came to an end around 1866. If you know more about the history of that time and of Swellendam, let me know in the comments. It reminds me a little bit of the Stefan Empire along the west coast, Carl Stefan, who we learned about in Veldrift. If you want to cut to the core of what makes Swellendam special, look at this. They have a wonderful sense of community, remembering a grandson, Jansen Stein. This one in loving memory of Opa and Oma Charlotte Miller and Carl Albert Schrader. And you can go on and on. So, a garden of remembrance for people of the area, people who have contributed, and loved ones. Oh, look here, they've even got a street named after their first president of a republic, Hermanus Stein. And the Mayville is also down there. You can see the museum open. This historic part of Swellendam is very well preserved. Well, I say they're open. Maybe they're not. But again, national monument. Okay, it looks like it's shut. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, it looks shut. Maybe that's a cue for us to continue elsewhere. Let's just have a sneak preview here. Looks like a beautiful dining area there. Sometimes as a vlogger, decisions are made for you. You can't see everything in a place when you're on a day trip. It just simply means we're going to have to explore something else. It looks like a guest house, but it also looks like a place selling coffee, breakfast, drinks, light meals, etc. More establishments here. I guess more of a industrial and commercial side here. Upholstery and blinds. Just noticed opposite the road here, they do have a honey gift shop. It looks shut at the moment, but yeah, beefings. I think I can make out Swellendam written there. There's a few motorcycles delivering shopping to people. A few cars, but not too many. Very nice, relaxing vibe. Loads of oak trees here in Swellendam, and we learned that Jan van Riebeeck brought them to South Africa. And today they add a magnificent touch to our towns, don't you think? Yeah, I just love all these old Dutch style buildings that have been converted into restaurants and other establishments. You can see here, restaurant and tea garden. Wow, Orde Wieder Tage. Not sure what that means, but you've even got a foundation stone here. Let's have a look here, 1924. Regular visitors on our terrace. Look at all the birds in the area here as well. Lots of flora and fauna. Oh, and they do have a gift shop here. And how's this for a light? Giraffe there for 250. South African flag, key rings, 65 rand. Right, crossing a bridge here, 1960. Over a river. I'm not sure if this is the Breede River. I know there's another one here in Swellendam. Yeah, how peaceful and tranquil is that? The sound of water. In fact, the name of a river is over there. Let's not second guess it. Ah yes, Courthouse. The Courthouse River. The Breede River, of course, flows through the town as well, so maybe that's in another part. But you'll struggle to find better surroundings than this. Swellendam, written with some stones here. Swellendam. By the way, I've noticed some of the street names here. You've got Swellengrebel Street over there. Of course, Swellen, the first part of the name, Swellendam. And over there you've got Voortrek Street, presumably Voortrekker. Maybe that's just a typo. Oh, there we go, 1838. Yes, indeed, Gelofte. Yeah, I got a feeling we're approaching the CBD, the heart of the town. Yeah, more magnificent guest houses and cottages. I get the feeling they rely on tourism quite a bit in this part of the world. Yeah, beautiful windows, another thatch roof. Yes, we are approaching the church. I can see it behind here. Indeed, there's a church square, Kerkplein. This square is part of the history of Swellendam. In days gone by, it was the market square where people from the outlying district could outspan their horses and carts when attending church or spending a weekend in their townhouses, which are to your right. Okay, so over there. So I guess they are nagmaalshuisies. I think that's a good Afrikaans word. In the 18th and 19th century in South Africa, it was quite common for people to travel to towns to attend church, especially if they lived on farms or in far remote areas. And because of the time and the distances involved, they would often stay for a whole weekend in one of these houses, or the nagmaalshuisies. Here we go, the crown jewel of Swellendam. The dates here, 1802 and 1911. Oh, that's interesting. I've read that the congregation was established in 1798. Maybe that's just the date associated with the church. Let's have a look. Oh, they look closed. The building is temporarily closed for painting and construction. Yeah, that is a shame. I would have loved to visit the church. Maybe we can get some information here. Okay, so the congregation was founded in 1798, as I said. The old church building dates from 1802 and the present church building's from 1911. Okay, there we go. Maybe we can get an idea. Oh no, it's shut. I thought maybe we can get an idea of gravestones and the individuals from the other side, but I'll give you a little sneak peek here. Yes, the Swellendam Dutch Reformed Church. I wonder how many national monuments there are in Swellendam. There certainly are a lot, and they are all magnificent. So the church is behind that tree over there. There's another interesting building there. It looks like the church office. And on this side of the road you do have Barry House, the original store and bank. Barry and Nephew, 1846. Okay. Oh, so this was a Barry building. Indeed there, Barry store, 1846. Yeah, going around here. And it looks like it's an art gallery nowadays. Yeah. Galerie Arterie. Looks shut at the moment. Yeah, beautiful building here in Swellendam, and beautiful gardens, beautiful plants, flora. Yeah, 7 and 6, so presumably these are different rooms. There's a perfumery. Another sign there, Barry Bank. Yeah, so there we go. You can come and get your Barry banknotes here. So many nice places to come and eat and drink. You can see here Grace and Mercy, or Merci. A bit of a French touch here. Let's have a look here. Oh wow, immediate first impressions. Look at the beautiful light here. And you've got some shortbreads, cookies, various biscuits. You can see the prices there. They all look homemade. Hi, hello. And some coffees. I get the feeling that people in Swellendam are very proud of their locally produced goods. You can see there preserved guavas, preserved peaches. There's some very interesting things as well. Some spoons and ladles. How's this for a name? Annie Brandt, original spice sauce. That's brilliant. Here you have a monument commemorating the coronation of King George V on the 22nd of June 1911. King George V, of course, the grandfather of Elizabeth II. Let's have a look what is behind here. Yeah, opening. Alright, nothing there. And I guess the CBD of Swellendam. It's very quiet, of course it's a Sunday. But you can get an idea of the activities in the town. There's a garage selling some vehicles. Wow, not every day you see this. A stock theft unit for Swellendam. I think that says a lot. And you've got more establishments here, petrol station, supermarkets. And we've got a mall there, Carlton Mall. Another big supermarket there. And alright, here's an interesting building. I think this is the old oefeningshuis. So practice house, or the place where freed slaves, they would get some education.
It's the oldest building made in Swellendam.
Okay, now it's a charity shop.
It's a charity shop, man. Just give it the people that are poor, like something.
Yeah. Ah yes, there we go, there's a clock.
Look, there's the anno.
Ah, 1838.
That's
yeah,
it.
thank you sir, appreciate it man.
Big pleasure, big pleasure.
Yeah, because I'm making a YouTube of Swellendam.
I'm just like to say to you, man, that you're welcome to my outdoor office, man.
Thank you very much,
I'm
man.
the CEO
Appreciate
here,
it.
man.
Hello, Daxe. Hi.
Officer, man. The people of here, they call me name Julius.
Okay, Julius, I'm Willie. Nice to meet you, man.
This one, man, the people from over here.
It's a charity shop now, isn't it?
Shop, man.
Yeah.
We've got another church. There's a church that we're going to show you.
Okay. Yeah.
Come and show you.
Yeah, I just want to show first for the people here. Kijk eens nou by mevrou hoor, net vir hierso. You can see what's interesting about this building is because it was used by many illiterate people. They've got two clocks there. For the people who could not read clocks, they've got two clocks there at the top. So you can see 12:15, and if a clock at the bottom read 12:15, the people knew it was time to pray. Anyways, let's get out of here. Let's go back to my accommodation and I'll show you where I'm staying. passing another beautiful church here. Look at that. And I guess we're a little bit off the beaten track as well. So we'll get some more insights into Swellendam. Looks to be the police station here. Ah, the community service, so separate from the theft of animals. And you've got Standard Bank building here. And that's him here. Hi. You can see what a beautiful town Swellendam is, with all the tree-lined streets. It looks to be some council offices back from 1939. Council chambers. Yeah, definitely a relaxed touch here. What have we got? Hidden Dragons venue. Okay, Wonderland Trail. Something to come and do. Yeah, not sure if it's open, but this caught my eye there. Pick and Pit. How brilliant. Discount for birds. And I guess a playing area for kids. Yeah. More beautiful architecture. So, Hidden Dragon. Wonder what this is about. Certainly looks like an interesting walking trail. No cycles, no motorcycles, so no noise encouraged in this part of the town. Use the breach at own risk. Okay. Yeah, it's just something about the sound of water that is so healing for the soul. Yeah, there we go. And the beautiful mountain as well. I reckon it's another 5 minutes or so to my accommodation. And I'm showing you a little bit of the residential side here in Swellendam. Visser Street. There you go. There's another cat. Is that the same cat from the museum? Almost looks like it. Anyways, give you an idea of how people live here in Swellendam. It's always interesting to see. Look at the beautiful post box there. Nice pink coral color. There looks to be a school over there. And more houses, more beautiful birds. Swellendam, I like you. I like you a lot. Certainly from what I could see, I think this must be a really nice place to live. And you are maybe a little bit far from Cape Town for a weekend break for some. But I can certainly tell you that I found it a wonderful experience. I love a combination of history, community, interesting businesses, beautiful nature. I can absolutely recommend Swellendam as a place to visit. Yeah, we've got more of a sports grounds of a school. And the Mist Street. Interesting name. Yeah, there we go. I need to get up there to Drostdy Street, the same street where the Drostdy was. So I've actually taken you on a bit of a loop here in Swellendam, and it's an interesting time of the day as well with the sun. And yeah, some noisy residents. Hello, nee, is alright. Ek kyk maar net hier rond, jong. Right everyone, let me show you where I'm staying. I'm not staying in the pool, but I think I might have a dip after a long day of logging. And this shed is also a communal space. I'll give you a look here. You can see there are tables, there's a kitchen with cutlery and glasses, there's a fridge. You've got some interesting art and artifacts there. Some beautiful touches here. Look at the flowers, the giraffes. And yeah, even the teaspoons here, they are quite interesting. And yes, obviously going out here, there's the pool. And I am staying on top there. Before we go there, let me show you more of a garden. People in South Africa, they do love their gardens. And of course this area, they do have some interesting plants. There you go. the protea, which is the national flower of South Africa. You've got more rooms on that side though, I've not noticed them. And various corners here where you can come and sit and have a coffee or a cigarette if you're a smoker. And you can enjoy a beautiful view through there. This is the life, isn't it? Check this view. Unbelievable. A mountain view. There's even a plane flying in the distance there. Wonder where they're going. And yes, we are also saying goodbye to Swellendam. We've got an exciting adventure ahead. The N2. And I wonder where that will take me on this trip. I think this has been a very good start to my next series of vlogs here in South Africa. And here is my room. Let's have a look. You can see a beautiful double bed. You've got some chairs here. You've got an ironing board. There's a wardrobe. I've got a microwave, a little fridge. I've got various cupboards here, various plates and forks and knives, other cutlery there. I've got 2 kettles. I've got a toaster. You've got some glasses over there. Look, SA Rugby. Their priorities, yeah, they are straight. You've got a cafetiere, and yes, I had some rusks for breakfast this morning, but they even gave us some rusks and some complimentary teas and coffees. Wash basin over there. Yeah, wonderful room. Got a TV, and obviously waking up to a mountain view like that, that is pretty special, I would say. There's a nice desk area for me to edit some videos in case I needed to. And here is the bathroom. Very spacious. There's the shower. You've got the wash basin. And then you've got the loo over there. I paid approximately £54 or 1,304 rands for this room for 2 nights. Alright, I think now is a good time to relax for a little bit after a long day of filming. Let me know what you thought of Swellendam, our first stop here on the N2 road trip that I'm going to do. Yeah, when I say N2, I don't mean that I will just be on the N2. I will in fact make a detour or turn off to some interesting places along the coast, for example. But hopefully I can cover quite a distance. So buckle up everyone and join me on this N2 trip, an unforgettable journey here in South Africa. Hit the notifications bell so that you know when I post new videos. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and like this video. Also share it with friends and family, leave a comment for me, let me know what you thought of Swellendam. For now, I just want to say again, thanks for watching my videos, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers, take it easy. So when people from the immediate countryside, so when people from the farms around towns visited, so when people traveled to the church,